Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in Portland, Oregon. So put away your mobile phones, put away your Cabbage Patch Kids. It's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We kick things off with SmackDown Live General Manager Paige, who is in the ring, and she is not a happy bunny. She says that she never thought that she would be in this position. We see a recap of Samoa Joe, or Samoa as Paige calls him, being all creepy at the Styles household last week, and Paige says that she has come to the decision to fire Samoa. Boo! Boo! But before she made that decision, she thought, hey, I'll give AJ Styles a ring, see what he says. And AJ says, no! This is wrestling, and I want to settle this in the ring in Australia at the Super Showdown. We then go to a video of AJ Styles at his home, and he says, sorry I couldn't be there tonight, I just don't feel like I could perform given the circumstances. He says that this is bigger than the WWE, despite the fact that he just said that he wants to settle this in a WWE ring and not involve law enforcement. Sure. AJ says that his daughter has been waking up in the middle of the night looking for Uncle Joe. She's been checking her closet, checking under her bed, and this is going to end on Saturday live on the WWE Network, that he is going to bury Samoa Joe alive, despite this not being a buried alive match. This was a tough one to grade. I actually thought that Paige's performance here was pretty weak. I'm not especially enjoying her role as SmackDown Live GM, simply because she's not a great actor, and it was clear that she was struggling here. AJ, however, was really good, especially after last week where his performance was more than a little bit hammy. Remember when Joe was approaching AJ's house and AJ's just screaming, don't go in there, don't go in there. It didn't quite work for me, but his delivery this week was really good until he said, we're gonna settle this in the land down under. And it's the shilling that bothers me so much. You've got this incredibly personal angle, and then he's just clearly shilling, and I know that's his job, but why can't AJ just say, I'm going to kill Joe on Saturday, and then let the commentary sell the pay-per-view? Unfortunately, I'm giving this one a D, because essentially, we found out that Samoa Joe travelled all the way across the country to play a glorified version of Ding Dong Ditch. He didn't even go in the house. And after last week, we left on such a high, it was the end of the show. And then we get this, it all just felt a little bit anticlimactic, like we had all that build-up for this. Next up was Andrade, Cien, Almas and Zelina Vega taking on the team of R-Truth and Carmella, and this was vastly better than the opening promo. I always feel like whenever I talk about Andrade, Cien, Almas, I just sort of talk about how I want him to progress, and I think he's the best. And I'm not going to do that this week, but he is the real deal, seriously. Both Carmella and Zelina Vega looked really good here too. Carmella has to be my call for perhaps the most improved wrestler of 2018. She used to feel like she was completely out of her depth, that she wasn't really a main event player, but she has improved so much, and now she's just a great wrestler. Carmella picks up the win for her team, tapping out Zelina Vega. Not the result that I wanted, but certainly the result that I think we all expected. This match gets a B. Almas especially can eat a fair few losses because he's just so damn impressive in the ring. He always comes out looking good. Up next, it's time to find out the recipe for those patented New Day pancakes because, yeah. New Day hyped their match against The Bar on Saturday night and then introduced Mr. Bootyworth, who was responsible for cooking all of those delicious pancakes for me and all of the WWE universe. They are quickly interrupted by The Bar. The Bar come down, they flip over the table, they attack the New Day, and then they fill up the hat of Mr. Bootyworth with pancake mix and put it on his head, and it all drips down his face. Bukkake. Listen, not every feud can have the realism of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch or the intensity of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe except for this week, but this wasn't very good at all. Sheamus and Cesaro have come out on top for the past 3 weeks now, so I think we all know where this is going on Saturday, and except for Big E's Ico Pro Jab at the beginning of the promo, this was just a bit crap. This one gets a C from me. Next up, it's time for Tye Dillinger versus Randy Orton in a match that Tye requested earlier in the night after Randy decimated him last week on SmackDown, seemingly just for a bit of a laugh. So before the bell even rings, Tye Dillinger attacks Randy Orton as Randy's making his way to the ring. Tye gets in a little bit of offense, but is ultimately overcome by the Viper. Randy hits the vintage Orton DDT on the outside, and then he puts Tye's finger through the bit of metal that holds the turnbuckle onto the ring post. You know the hole in that? I don't know what the thing's called. He puts his finger through that and just wrenches back. He does this until referees convince Randy to release Tye, and I'm loving this vicious, horrible Orton. From Jeff's ear with the finger to Jeff's ear with the screwdriver, now this. Really enjoying this new side to Randy Orton. It's what Randy has needed for an awful long time now, and I hope this just continues. Hopefully next week we'll see Randy Orton carve RKO into Primo's back with a bit of broken glass, or shove a load of flaming hot Doritos up Jey Uso's bum, or something. Anyway, despite this not being a match, I'm going to give it a B. I really enjoyed it. I'm still thinking about the bum thing. Moving on! Quick backstage promo with The Miz and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton requested a match and Paige gave him Daniel Bryan, and Miz says, hey, I don't just want you to beat Daniel Bryan, I want you to absolutely ruin him. And I think he said, feed his beard to him? Yep. Shelton says that he's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time and that Daniel Bryan is going to be the first in a line of many people that he defeats. Great delivery from Shelton Benjamin. More importantly, it's just good to see him back on TV. Milwaukee time! So we're in the ring with Rusev and Lana, and Rusev quickly calls out Aiden English. Aiden talks about how brilliant Milwaukee is. Did you know that Laverne and Shirley was filmed there? Love Actually, great film. Basketball, another great film. Get on with it. Aiden throws to a video on the Tron that he recorded on his mobile phone. It's in a hotel room in Milwaukee, and he's practicing his singing, but then is quickly interrupted by Lana, who says, Aiden, I want to tell you something. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I think it's important I say it out loud. I want you cut. So Aiden can't show us the rest because he's going to sell the footage to TMZ, and he doesn't want to cheat on them. Ooh, Rusev gets pissed off. He runs up the ramp chasing Aiden English, and Lana just stands there looking upset in the ring. I'm gonna give this a C because, quite frankly, I don't know what else to grade it. It's early days, that's the thing, and I'm not too optimistic about this program, but let's give it a little bit more time, see where it goes. I think it's fairly obvious that Lana didn't say anything especially sordid. Like, she probably said, Aiden, I want you to pick up Rusev's dry cleaning, but maybe this is the best double bluff ever, and WWE think that we got it all figured out. But no! A video drops tomorrow on TMZ that shows Lana saying, Aiden, I want you to let me suck you off. The best double bluff ever. What a twist! It's not gonna happen, is it? To the ring for Shelton Benjamin versus Daniel Bryan in what was match of the night, even though there were only 3 actual matches on last night's episode of SmackDown. It's a nice reminder that Shelton Benjamin is actually pretty much as good as he was 10 years ago, and picks up a surprise win here. Sure, following a distraction from The Miz, but still a fairly clean win. There isn't too much to say about the match itself, a fairly straightforward back and forth encounter. The Miz was very good on commentary, and I just hope this leads to something bigger for Shelton Benjamin. The guy truly deserves it. The match itself gets a B. Post-match, The Miz attacks Daniel Bryan, lays him out with a skull-crushing finale to hype their match on Saturday in Australia, the Land Down Under Super Showdown, and that's your lot. Before I move on, I won't lie, I've lost a little bit of interest in this Daniel Bryan versus Miz storyline, which is such a shame because 6 weeks ago, I was saying the exact opposite. And I don't know if that's down to the fairly lackluster tag match at Hell in a Cell, but something big needs to be done to get this one back on track. Daniel Bryan, right now, feels like just another wrestler. And considering how excited we all were when he made his return earlier this year, just, I don't know, 6 months on or so, it does feel like a big shame. Naomi is now in the ring with Dana Warrior, highlighting WWE's work with Susan G. Komen. Surprisingly, I'm not going to grade this one. It's now time for Peyton Royce versus Asuka. Before the match, we get a quick pre-recorded Iconics promo as they make their way to the ring, and they say that because Super Showdown is in Australia, where they're from, they can't lose! And they've even got a brand new victory dance for when they win. I love these two. It's another thing that I've done a total 180 on. I really get the cringe thing now, and I enjoy it. I think they're gold on the mic. They're truly, truly annoying, truly great heels. Heels that don't want to be cool. They're just losers, and it's brilliant. I really enjoy them, and I'm glad that they get mic time most weeks. Anyway, a very average match. This one gets a C. I think Peyton tapped a little bit too early when Asuka was locking in the Asuka lock. Whatever, it was fine. Main event time, and it's a promo, but at least it's a Becky Lynch promo. So Becky comes down and she says that she is the one holding up the SmackDown Women's Division, that she's made the SmackDown Women's Division the most relevant thing in WWE. But despite all of this, it's Charlotte who is doing the press. It's Charlotte who is on those billboards. And that's not fair, because it should be Becky. And if Becky isn't going to be given that opportunity, she's going to take it herself. She reveals an updated poster for Super Showdown where Becky Lynch is standing tall over a laid out Charlotte Flair when she attacked her during that photo shoot. And then she delivers a brilliant line and says, "It's not about Triple H versus The Undertaker for the last time ever. It's about Becky Lynch defending her SmackDown Women's title for the first time ever." Fantastic line. She is quickly cut off by Charlotte Flair. Charlotte pegs it down the ramp, and she's got a mic, but she doesn't use it. She just lobs it in some kid's face, and she takes out Becky Lynch. Charlotte comes out looking strong on the go-home show. This is the match that I'm most excited for on Saturday. So props to Becky, props to Charlotte. They've made this feel incredibly personal, incredibly real. Props to the writers as well. I'm really looking forward to this match, but overall, not a great episode of SmackDown. So the Becky Charlotte promo, I'm going to give a B+. I thought it was great, but overall, not a good episode of SmackDown at all. I'm going to give this episode of SmackDown a D+. This was far, far too promo heavy for my liking, and I know it's a go-home show and that's often the case, but still, there was like 15 minutes of wrestling, actual wrestling, bell-to-bell action in a 2-hour show. And it's not so much that it was so promo heavy, it's that a lot of those promos were pretty rubbish. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to Super Showdown. There's some good and there's certainly some bad on that card. Most importantly, screw your Raw recaps on SmackDown. That's one thing that I don't want to see on there. I'm tuning in for SmackDown. Whatever, let's finish with a joke. Where does Stone Cold Steve Austin sign his contracts? The bottom line, I know it's rubbish. I was locked in a room with a fish for 24 hours. Piss off. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.